right. Well, I'm so glad you joined. And my name's Carolyn, and I'm one of the people who attend City South Church and love doing art. And I'm not trained in this. This is just something that I like to do for fun sometimes. Nope. Okay, I'll backtrack a little bit. So if you have any of you, well, I guess I can't hear you now, but I was on my Instagram feed once and I follow this one account that shows all different types of art. And maybe a couple of years ago, I had seen some fluid art painting. It's called pour painting. And I thought, you know what, I think I can do that. So all I did is I went on to YouTube and I watched a whole bunch of videos, figured out a few techniques, and then I just started to play around with it. So I'm going to teach you one of the techniques that I have learned by just watching other people. And before we start, I just want to let you know is this project doesn't require you to be super artistic. Okay, so it's more about just feeling really creative and in the moment. So if you're one of those really technical, skilled people that likes precision, this project could frustrate you because the paint is going to do its thing and you have to not overwork it. Okay, the less you play around with it, the more successful you're going to be. So I just want to let you know. And just so you know, if yours ends up looking like something you really don't like, that's okay, because we all know when you make mistakes or if things don't work out the first time, that is the process of learning and eventually having something successful. There's been many times where I've poured and I hated it and I just scraped it right off and walked away, and that's okay. All right, so the project that we're going to be doing is going to be will look similar to this, okay? But I wanted to just show you a couple of the other things that you can do with pour painting. And this one you can see has quite a shine to it after this dried. And just so you know, ladies, it's going to take your painting probably at least 3 days to dry. So when you pour the painting tonight, it's very critical that it's on a completely level surface and you don't touch it today. In the morning, you probably can move it off your table if need be, but make sure you keep it level. Otherwise, your paint will slowly run right off your canvas, okay? And then the other thing I wanted to show you is some of these, when they dried, I added in a little bit of like glitter, and that's just done with glue and then some pen. And then this over top, it's, what's it called? It is a resin, that's what it is. And it just gives it this high gloss finish, which you don't need to put on. This here is sealed after it's totally dry with just a really regular product you can find at Home Depot or Rona. And it's a polyacrylic and it's in a gloss finish. So it'll take your painting, this doesn't have it, from really kind of flat and matte to a little more of a sheen. So you can see the difference. It actually brings the color out more. So I encourage you to do that if you're really happy with your painting. And the other thing is you'll notice this canvas is thicker. And so we kind of gave you more practice canvases, but if you end up liking this process, go ahead and buy some a little more expensive canvases, and then you can just hang these right on the wall, or you can put them onto a little stand and you have some modern art. Okay, now please unmute yourself if you have a question, because I don't want to like move forward if something isn't making sense. So this is supposed to be very interactive, okay, ladies? So please interject if you need to. All right, so if you could get your canvas and lay it out onto something flat that has like plastic. This is just parchment paper, so that when the paint runs over, you're not going to damage your surface. And then in your little kit, you'll find these little cups. They're clear, and these are what we're going to put under the canvas in the corners. Okay, so if you could do that, you're just going to raise it off because the paint is going to drip right off of your canvas as we pour. So it's just going to balance. All right. And if I'm moving too quickly, let me know.
Do we want it to be balancing on the frame or on the canvas?
So you want it to be balancing on the wood frame.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, and then what we're going to do first is we're going to mix our white paint. Okay, so in your little kit, you will have a container that has white paint labeled on that, if you could grab that, as well as your clear cup like this, and grab one popsicle stick. And then you also need, it's labeled Floetrol, and this is what it looks like. And basically what Floetrol is, it looks like this, or it's called pouring medium, just depending on the brand. This is actually from like a commercial paint supplier. And what it does is it extends the drying time. So this is the key for pour painting. You need to put in equal parts of paint to pouring liquid, and then we're going to even add a little bit of water. So if you haven't, if you could get a cup of water, if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. It doesn't need to have a spout. It can just be a cup. So just grab some regular, doesn't matter the temperature, tap water. All right. Now what we're going to do is, this is my white paint. It doesn't have to be exactly 1 cup. Pouring liquid, so it's called Floetrol, and these do not have to be exact amounts, so I'm going to show you here in my cup. Okay, about 1/3, if you could pour that in. And then you're going to take your white paint and you're going to guess an equal amount to what you have in the cup. So it's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so then you're just going to add it right in there. Okay.
Carolyn?
Yes.
I purchased a ready mix pouring paint, so I just use that straight.
Correct. Great question.
Okay. Thank you.
Some companies already have it pre-mixed, and so you don't need to do any mixing. That's great.
Carolyn,
now
you've used all our white paint?
Pardon me?
Should we have used our whole little cup of white paint?
How much did you use of it?
Well, I just have a little bit left, so I'm just wondering if I should pour it all in.
No.
Okay.
Keep some of it aside for the next part, so that's okay. Yeah, good question. And there's no silly questions, so ask away, okay? And then you're going to add, this is a little bit of water, not the same amount, but I would say like 1 finger depth Does that make sense? Okay. And then we're going to start mixing it, and you have to mix this very, very well. And when I have it mixed to the consistency that's good for pouring, I'm going to show you what the consistency will look like, okay? So this is really key. This will take a little bit of time. This will be the most we do for mixing. We need some of that elevator music here.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Oh, that's Jeopardy.
That's okay. Anything will do. So
It's taking all the concentration to do both things here. Oh,
yes, for me, I know I need a little bit more water. So if you just look up here for a sec, ladies, this is too thick. It needs to be runnier. And if yours looks like this, you're gonna have to add some more water, okay? Basically, it's going to be the consistency of like honey that's quite runny, perhaps just slightly more runny. If it's too watery, it's also not going to work, and it's very hard to go backwards because that requires more paint, and if you're using up your paint. But if yours is all of a sudden way too runny, you may have to add some more paint. Okay, I'm gonna check this again and let you girls know how I'm coming around. Okay, so have a look. This could still use a tiny bit more water. Can you see it on there? It still is a bit slow, so I'm gonna add just a bit more.
sorry, what consistency should it be like again?
A tiny bit runnier than honey, but not watery. It should run off nicely. Now, the key is try to mix up that bottom paint and Floetrol so that it's not too liquidy on top, but it's very consistent. Are you ladies getting around a big cup full of paint right now with your quantities? Is that, if you want, basically what we want to have, good, melted ice, sure. Or like melted ice cream, yes, melted ice cream, good one, I like it. Okay, so this is probably good if you look. It's coming off pretty smooth. I might give it just a tiny bit more, okay? So add enough of your water, your Floetrol, and your white paint so you get a cup full. And then we're going to mix our colors. Okay, any questions about the consistency? If it's not exactly right, it doesn't matter because your art will take on its own unique flow. Okay, so there we go. Melted ice cream, that's actually a good analogy, Nancy. Okay, all right, we're gonna set that aside. Now, your kit will have 4 different colors, but you get to pick whatever color you want. I'm going to ask that you use at least 3 colors. If you want to use 4, you can. 3 is probably good. Now, there will be 3 colors in there that are the primaries. So you should have red, blue, and yellow. And from those, you can mix any color. So if you would like to have turquoise, if you would like to make green, all you need to do is mix a bit of blue and yellow, and you're going to get green. If you want it to be a little more turquoise, then you're just going to add a little bit more of the blue versus the yellow. If you would like pink, you can mix a bit of your white with your red. What other colors? If you want orange, you just need to mix red and yellow. If you want coral, so you can go ahead and start mixing those, and you should have, I don't know what kind of cup. Could you just hold up maybe Rosie, your little cups? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, mine look a little different, but these are the ones we're gonna mix in. So just take your paint stick and you can start putting in a little bit of your paint and mixing the 3 colors you want. If you want to just stick with red, purple, like the colors that you have and work with those, that's totally fine. But if you want to customize, if you don't know how to make a color, ask me in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask me.
How much of the total paint that's mixed should we have, Carolyn?
So we actually don't need a ton of color. So we're going to be adding equal amounts of Floetrol and water. So probably in your cup, you actually only need your cup to be half full for each color. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Each cup, when it's fully mixed with the 3 ingredients, it will be just a half cup. You don't need a lot. Yeah.
Okay, Carolyn, I have a
Yes.
question. So we're just putting the paint into these tiny cups. We're not putting the solution that we just made, right?
If you have the color that you like, then go ahead and put your Floetrol in. The same way we did white, we're going to mix the color, okay? Equal parts Floetrol to paint, and then add a little bit water at a time to get that melted ice cream consistency.
Okay.
So I'm going to
we're not putting this white one in there.
No.
Okay.
No, that one is
Got
going
it.
to be your background. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So for instance, I'm gonna do pink, and this is my pink, which has not, it doesn't have any of the Floetrol or water in it. So I'm gonna add that.
Can you mix purple with anything to get a different color?
Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot about the purple. You could make, like if you want to mix purple with blue, you could see what that does. I think that one's more of a pastel. So if you're using that purple, you may want to add white to some of your other colors and keep it more of a pastel look. The thing is with these fluid art paintings, it looks best with vibrant colors. However, I say that and I'm doing pink because I just like to try different things and see what happens, experiment. You really won't go wrong. Just, I would say, pick colors that you really like. Just pick colors you really like.
One question we had was how to make coral.
Okay, good. So coral would be more red, less yellow.
Sorry, we add equal parts of the Floetrol now to the colors?
Yes, equal parts of Floetrol to the colors. So 1-to-1 ratio. And then you're going to add a little bit of water at a time so you get the same consistency as your white paint. They all need to be that runny consistency.
How did you get turquoise, Carolyn?
Okay, turquoise. So we're going to start by making green. So we're going to do equal parts blue and yellow.
Okay.
Or another way to do that is add more blue and less yellow.
Yeah, I did that. It looks like vomit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Mine
not
does a little
good.
bit too.
Okay,
Baby poopy, maybe.
sorry.
I wonder if you had a bit of purple then to it.
Oh, boy. No, I don't think so.
Totally just guessing. Don't take my advice.
If you
I
mix,
didn't.
yeah, if you
So
mix
what-
colors on the opposite end of the wheel, you actually get brown. So if you take red and green, you get brown. If you take yellow and purple, you get brown. If
So
you do
what should
blue
I
and
do
orange, you
with-
get brown.
What should I do with this goopy turquoise?
Get rid of it and just use what you like. Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, you're going to, if you just use the yellow and the blue, you're going to end up, as it mixes, get some natural greens that come as they mix. Yeah. Okay. All right, I better mix my other colors here. Now, don't let me forget, but in those colors, we're going to eventually add some of the silicone. So make sure we don't forget to do that. Okay, so I have pink, and then I'm going to just use this color I have. It's like a alizarin crimson. I'm just using stuff that I have at home here.
Are these just acrylic paints that you have at home?
Yeah, like this one, and then like these are just stuff that I have, so they're not expensive. You don't have to use anything fancy. You can use the ones that are in this type of a container. All right, and then someone on the screen, I can't see who it is, but they have paints that are already mixed, and you can pick those up at Michael's. I've never used them, but that would just save you time on having to do all this mixing. So that's nice too. Okay. How are your colors coming, girls?
So far, so good. Got like a green and a purple and a silver-like thing.
Okay, well, there you go. And you can use two colors as well, because we're also using white in the final. So if you only want to use two colors plus white, it's going to be nice too. Okay, I think this is good. Okay, I'm just going to do one more. I happen to have this like metallic copper, so we're just going to see what happens when I throw that in. Really, I'm just giving you the technique, and if you think this is fun, you can go out and pick whatever colors you want to do.
Carolyn, I have one question for you.
Yes.
How much paint do you use, or how do you know how much paint to use for each canvas?
I go by eye. You're going to see now how much. So you're probably thinking, why do we have so much white paint and so little color? Because you need a ton of white paint for the background. And if you do the kind of paintings where you're moving the canvas and a lot runs off, it seems like a lot of waste, but you actually need more paint than surface, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Once you do this, you'll see how much paint you really need. You need very little of the color and more of the white. Okay. Can I ask
I'm behind.
who is ready to add the silicone?
Can I ask a
Okay.
question?
Yes.
Sorry, because I'm behind. So I'm doing for the color, we're also adding equal parts of the Floetrol and water, same that we did with the white.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much water do we have to add to the color? I totally forgot about that piece.
It's more, you just keep adding it slowly until it turns into a like ice cream that's been melted. So this is what it looks like. If you want to look up, it just runs right off. All right, now I'm just going to, you just keep mixing while I talk here. This is the silicone oil, and you don't need this. So if you did not buy this, it's okay. But in your packet, you will see a little container and it's labeled. Okay, so get your silicone oil. I just have this one, and this is, I bought it a couple of years ago. It's lubricant for a treadmill. Okay, and what this does, it creates these circular cells in your artwork. And I'll show you what those look like on a painting here. So if you look over here, do you see these little circular shapes? the oil will repel with the acrylic, and it'll just create a little more texture. It's not necessary to have that, but why don't we go ahead and use that? So you just need like 1 to 2 drops in your color. And ladies, do not put it in your white. Do not put the silicone in your white, just into the colors that you have mixed. So if you look over here, I'll show you how much I'm going to use. I'm just literally going to drop in 1, 2. If you put in more, it doesn't matter. Just at least you have a couple, and then you're going to mix it. 1, 2, 1, 2. And if you can use a popsicle stick to dig it out. If you put in 3 or 4 drops, that's fine too. And then you just give them a little stir. And then maybe check the consistencies of all your paints so that they're equal. And you're going to want to give your white another good mix. Perfect. Okay.
No silicone.
One thing. Yeah,
Sorry, Carolyn. No silicone goes in the white paint, correct?
that's right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do want silicone in all our colors, 2 or 3
That's
drops,
right.
right? Okay.
That's right. Yep. Okay. One other tool you may find useful, and it's not necessary, is a straw. And I'll show you how you can use that for your painting tonight. So if you have one, you can grab it. One other thing that you do want.
Once we put the silicone in the colors, do we mix it? Sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah, just give it a little mix.
So little mix or thoroughly mixed?
You can thoroughly mix it. Sure.
Okay.
Yep. One other thing you're going to need is a hairdryer. Okay. And make sure your plug is somewhere where you can really rotate it around your canvas. If not, maybe grab an extension cord. So I'll let you get those items before I start. And any other questions about your mixtures?
Sorry, Carolyn, I have one more. Okay, so
Yeah.
the mixture that we made with the Floetrol and the white, we don't put silicone in that one, or we do? This big one here.
No silicone.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then you can wear gloves or you don't have to. And then this was the other optional item, which you don't need either, is I'm going to use it just so I can show you today. It's just a simple kitchen torch. And this helps with the creation of cells. And when you are putting your paint on, you have these layers, and then as you use the heat, some of the top layers will kind of burst open and some of the colors will come out from underneath. So that's why I wanted to show you, but it's not necessary, okay? Definitely not necessary. All right. Can I get messy here? I think the easiest thing will be for me to paint it for you as you watch, so you're focusing. And then I'm going to instruct you step by step as you do it. So you're going to see it from beginning to end, and then I'm going to walk you through it from beginning to end. Does that make sense?
Can you wait a minute or so?
I can dance for you, Debbie. I'll entertain the other ladies. You bet.
Carolyn, I keep putting more water in, but it's still staying this consistency where it, or Okay, now it's working. But it's like just dribbling.
Let me
And
see.
I'm not sure. And I just keep adding more and more water, and it keeps staying with this like dribble. It's not like a nice
Do you think
steady
it's
stream.
too watery?
Well, I don't know, but it was too thick and now it's just really dribbly. I'm not sure. I did it with two of my paints.
Mine
Let me
is
see.
kind of like Candace's. Like what she's
Yeah,
just
I don't know what to do. I can't seem to get it.
But it seems like Candace, I was having an issue, and it just if I tilt my cup, it's really funny. If I test it with my cup tilted, it drips better.
You know what? It could be, Candace.
What?
That paint you guys bought was from Dollarama, correct?
Yeah.
This could be a higher quality paint that I'm using. And so it has more of that elasticity to it.
So if I've now put in too much water, how do I correct that?
More paint.
Okay.
Yeah. Girls, are you having that trouble, the ones that have the kits?
Yes. I am.
A little bit,
Some-
but I think
Some are shaking no.
adding
Okay.
more paint.
You
seems
don't
to-
want it
mine are
super
all good.
watery.
Okay.
You don't want it super watery. You know what, girls? It's okay. Maybe you've created a new look in pour painting. Well, we're just going to see what happens. Okay. Everyone's are going to look different, so don't stress it. This is typically the paint that I buy. And this is the lowest end paint from Michael's. It's Liquid-X or it's like this basics. So it could be that is the issue, but I have used these types of paints from Michael's as well. I haven't used the dollar store paints before. So I don't know, it could be just a lower end paint and it doesn't run as well. I don't know. Rosie, how's yours going? Is it kind of like?
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's just it's getting better once I added a little bit of paint, but it's not really funny, but I think I just need to keep mixing it. Maybe I haven't.
Okay, try not to get it too runny, ladies.
Right.
Okay.
Carolyn, we're to the colors that we've mixed, we're adding a little bit of water and that Floetrol to it, right? Or no?
Yep. So you want the colors, like any of your colors need to have equal parts Floetrol. So 1-to-1 ratio, and then enough water so that if you poured it out, it wouldn't be like water, but it wouldn't be like thick and not able to move.
Great.
Does that make sense? Yeah. And then silicone to the colors. Okay, I'm going to start putting my white on, okay? And I want you to watch me. I know you really want to mix your colors, but it's important that you see it from beginning to end, and then I'll talk you through it, okay? So we don't want to use all the white paint, all right? But what we're going to do, and I'm just going to do it first, so just watch. I'm going to take my cup and I'm going to literally, do you see how nice and thick and creamy that is? I'm going to pour this all over my canvas in the center, and I'm going to reserve at least a third of my paint, okay? Then what I'm gonna do with a popsicle stick, or your finger, or I just have this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this as my base, my backdrop, and I'm going to work it as a nice thin layer. And then when I get to my edges, I hope you can see this, I'm going to let it go right to the end and it can run off even. Do we want to do this together, or do you want to watch it from beginning to end? I'm going to make you watch it from beginning to end. Okay. Just keep following here. Okay. It's going to, basically we're icing a cake. Okay. And it looks like I'm going to need some more. You don't want it too thin. You want to be quite liberal with your paint, but you do need to reserve a little bit of your white. So don't use it all, okay? And it's going to run over. Okay, now I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to literally, I'm going to do my edges so that the paint is running off, and I'm covering the sides with paint. You want all the surfaces to have paint on it because you just need to do that, okay? So if you've got some paint that runs off your edge, can you see I can dip into it and just tap it on? Okay, and I'm gonna do this pretty quick and not too precise so that I can get into the color part so that you ladies can start painting, okay? All right, so that's pretty good. All right, I'm just gonna wash my hand really quick. Okay, here's the fun part. So now I'm going to layer on the color. So in my canvas, my original canvas, I had the color at around 1/3 of the way up, okay? And it just makes for a more interesting composition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my color at around 1/3, okay? It doesn't have to be exact. And it doesn't matter which color you start with, okay? Make sure you still have some white paint left. I have at least 1/3 of my white paint, okay? But you're just watching right now, okay? You're not painting. All right, I'm gonna start with my light pink. Now watch how much paint I put on. This is important that you're watching, okay? If you put too much on, it's going to not be very successful. So I'm just going to run it across very thin. It just dribbled across, okay? Then I'm gonna go to my next color and I'm gonna go directly on top. I'm just gonna dribble. And then I'm gonna go to my next color and I'm gonna dribble it on. Then I'm gonna take my white and I'm gonna do the same thing. And now I'm going to do the same thing again. Start with, it doesn't matter what order, but I'm going to do my light pink. And then my next color on top. It doesn't have to be exact. And my final color. Now this is very important. You're going to move your paints to the side. So I used very little color, right? Now I'm going to take my white paint and watch where I'm going to put it. This is very important, ladies. I'm going to pour it on the white above the strip, quite liberally. And I'm going to do the same below. And this is necessary for when we hair dryer it, that there's movement. Okay, now I'm going to look at my canvas. Are there any blank spots? There are some here. Just going to fill in. Okay, so does everybody see that? Okay, now here comes the fun part. I'm going to take my hair dryer and I'm going to very carefully and intentionally blow it in a few directions, okay? If you take your hair dryer too close and blast it, it's gonna go absolutely everywhere and you're gonna make a mess. So go further back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow the white paint over this way. And I'm going to blow the white paint over this way. And then I'm going to show you what's next. Okay, everybody watching? Okay, so that's step number one. Now I'm almost covered it, okay? So now that I've put a layer of white and white, I still see the color. Now I'm gonna go directly into the concentrated color and I'm gonna take that and I'm to blow it up a bit. And I'm gonna maybe blow it down a bit and blow it up a bit and down. If I go back to my example, it's very organic, okay? Some go up, some go down. So watch what happens now. I get my hair dryer and I have no control over what the color's gonna do. So here we go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna let it sit, don't overwork it. So I didn't do a ton. Can you see all these little cells? So now we're gonna just let it watch for a bit. If I have my torch, I can actually amplify some of those. Oops. And I'm just gonna lightly go over it and it's going to bring out some more of those cells. I don't want too much fire. Okay, so that's good.
About the torch, if I don't have, could I use a barbecue lighter or would you just not even do that?
Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, you don't need it. Okay, so this looks
I never knew I needed a torch until now, apparently.
No, it was in the optional. It was in the optional, okay? Now, right now it's going to do its thing. Now what I can do from here with the straw is I can blow and feather some of this out. Okay, so if you just watch. It kind of gives a little bit of movement, okay? So I want everyone to put their white paint on now, okay? Put your white paint on. Don't pour all of it on. You got to make sure you reserve some, okay? And I'm just going to play around with this.
When we have our white paint on, and you said not to put it all on, right?
Yeah. Leave about a third of it in your cup, okay?
A third? Oh, okay. So like this. Yeah. Okay.
I really like the colors of this. I don't know if you can see that, but it's cool. All right, so keep putting on your white.
Carolyn.
Yes.
How thick should our like white paint be on our canvas? Like very thick or not really thick?
It should be pretty thick.
Oh, okay.
But make sure you don't use it all, okay? It should just look like you frosted, maybe not frosted. Like you shouldn't see canvas through it, but it doesn't need to be like super crazy thick.
I like poured half of mine over back into my cup. Shut up, Dulas. Dulas is the worst.
Oh my gosh, you're muted. So then once we start pouring the color across, do we do a certain one first out of our colors or it doesn't matter?
No. So now if you're ready for the color, just go in the order you want, okay? You're going to do it 2 times. Whatever color, like your color is going to go on twice. And don't forget to add white in the middle. You're going to do 1 strip of white. That's just going to help with your composition.
Is there any negative to me trying to do it like on a diagonal instead of directly across?
There's no negative. You're just being creative.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah, if you have an inspiration for how you want your color to go, you go for it.
Okay, I love mine.
Wendy, can I see it?
Okay, hold on.
Wendy, you were listening to the instructions about waiting.
She's so smart. She just went ahead. Wow. That's awesome.
I couldn't wait. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. Love it. Wendy, take a picture. We should actually, okay, you don't have to, but it would be cool if we could each take a photo and post it in the comments of our event, if you're brave enough to do that.
Okay, in the comments.
That'd be awesome. And then we get to see each other's stuff. But like when we're all done, we can maybe tilt our cameras so we can look at each other's work.
Wendy,